attract doctors and those in the medical profession to Guam, but issues of medical tourism needs to be taken into serious consideration, as well as other areas in terms of looking at how else to improve access without such a surge of costs to the family member. I think that although there are efforts to maintain and prevent families and children to travel off-island for serious emotional disorders, having one residential treatment for those youth is great to have in terms of ensuring that these families are here and they stay here. But of course it points to the need for sustaining that growth, and how you sustain that growth is, for example, West Care Foundation is here now in Guam. It has opened its doors. There are other nonprofit organizations, again, looking at marketing and actually cultivating not only a culture here on Guam, but regionally and nationally, that Guam is an area to open up its doors to where we can actually expand that services. So these are just a few of the issues being discussed, and again, other strategies and ways forward, will be discussed, but again, very important.
Any other questions? I know I'm getting the sign to wrap up.
I just wanted to ask, this is a question posed at what Sarah just talked about the homeless issue. There were reports in the last few months about the growing increase in the homeless population on Guam. My question is not just on how to help them with their healthcare needs, but all these construction workers that are going to be coming to the island during the course of the build-up. We can look at the H-2 workers now and in the past recent years about those that come in don't always go out. When we get this influx of workers, those that do straggle behind, that don't leave immediately or do find healthcare or homelessness problems while they're here, how are the facilities and the support services here on Guam now going to be able to accurately handle the influx of those people coming in that may have healthcare problems and the problem of homelessness? I mean, thousands of workers coming in, and like you said, Naval Hospital can only hold 38 patient beds right now, and there's a shortfall at GMH as well. How do we cope with this large influx of people coming in, the workers especially?
Right, that's a great question.
I want to just say one thing, and then I think probably Mr. Roberto's the best person to ask that. But I think for me, the one issue that I see as critical is, appropriate screening, particularly as it pertains to infectious disease before those individuals get on a plane to come to Guam. Presumably they're all going to come on a plane. That there's appropriate screening. That is absolutely critical, and I think that that actually should be legislated, that there should be in law, for instance, you can't take a passport that's about to expire and get on a plane to go to Japan. They will not let you on the plane. They inspect your passport and see that you can't get on a plane, or the airline is obligated to return that individual. In other words, if someone makes the mistake and you land in Japan, it's actually the airline that is responsible for returning you back to the U.S. It is not the government of Japan. I think we need to look at an appropriate legal mechanism that when individuals who are coming here on the H-2 visas, or whatever the particular visas are that allow them to work here, that they have some type of screening mechanism that is either in their passport or what have you, that they're not allowed to get on the plane unless that screening has been done in advance. I think that will minimize, or let's put it this way, that will be an easy mechanism of preventing an overburdening of the healthcare system that is much more difficult to do once they come here. And secondly, I think it's important that there be a consolidated housing system here on Guam for those people who do come here, because if there is an outbreak of disease at a particular work site or whatever, if all those individuals are kept in one area and that is very heavily monitored by public health, that we can stop potential infectious disease, spread of infectious disease. If individuals are all over the place, that becomes much, much more difficult, particularly as, yes, 10,000 people coming to this island who aren't real members of our community. They are temporary workers, not permanent members. It's become much more difficult to track them through businesses than it is through some well-organized workforce, centralized workforce housing environment. Those are my two comments.
Just, we're out of time, but just to this very good question from the public health perspective on homelessness. There are issues of access to care and health disparities, especially in reaching out to those individuals who are homeless. And I think there are many angles in approaching that question, a lot of social injustice issues, a lot of different policy issues and what have you. But I think most important is that when we start looking at program infrastructure in this comprehensive 5-year plan, these are the kind of critical comments and issues that not only are talked about, but actually addressed in terms of deliverables. And I just need to cap my ending comments in that, you know, the 5-year plan isn't a plan to plan. It's a plan embedded with an implementation with, you know, sustainable strategies moving forward. But more importantly is, which federal agency is going to pick that cost up to ensure that that deliverable is delivered in that particular time, year 1 through 5. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the panelists. I know we're out of time and we could spend all day on health and social services. Well, actually, I'd love to be locked in a room with you guys. We could talk all day. But thank you very much for giving us in this.